Just fucking do it. Subscribe now.
This girl, Katie has the Viking bitch been like this all her life. Since they're freshmen in high school. She hasn't changed. The Viking bitch too is also 6'1", 1 inch shorter than her. And he says, we ruled state basketball, which I don't doubt. But she says, she's always been like that. And but when you get people to move, she didn't pay the moving expenses, none of that shit that you're used to, with no salaries. You couldn't get a motherfucker to move next door to you if you paid him $1 million a year, based on your leadership skills, that I've seen so far in this room. And she's getting grown men and their families to move for nothing on faith. She's got extraordinary skills. And guess what? She's doing extraordinarily well. Duh. And she practices. Now, the fact that, and she's done some hiccups. I would have fired that guy and all the things he did wrong. I would have fired him instantly. I mean, that's gone. Because it's never going to get better. It's only going to get worse. Okay. Comments about the Viking bitch. Yes, sir. He looks like a Arabian drug dealer in fucking Tunisia or something.
So I had a question. If you don't have a track record, you need a joint venture partner.
No.
And
you need a board.
Okay, you don't need a.
You need no. I mean, who's she going to get as a joint venture partner to buy these little chicken shit things for $500,000 to $3 million? You think Cardinal Health is interested in this? Fuck no. No, you don't need a joint venture partner. You're taking the information out of context. Everybody knows I started my government contract and did $50 million in business, my first year in business, with a government contract with a joint venture with Marion Refining out of Mobile, Alabama. But that's something different. You're mixing apples and oranges. Okay, next question. Yes, sir.
So she mentioned that initially she got her CFO and also her lawyer on her board to do most of the deal.
No, they did, well, the first couple of deals, almost all of the deal. Correct. And that's what they should do. When I start and we get down to what the board's supposed to do, they should handle smaller deals, let's say $2 million or less. They should be able to do all the due diligence. All the due diligence. And if they're not willing to, next. Adios, motherfucker. Don't let the door hit you in your flabby, wrinkly ass on the way out. I see you guys sharing. Isn't that a cocksucker in this room that could say that? Would say it. And I did. And the reason why it flows off my lips is because that's exactly what I told them. Verbatim. Verstehen, understand the word verbatim? Word for fucking word. Don't let the door hit you in your wrinkly, flabby ass on the way fucking out. And I still say it in 2020. Next question. Yes, sir.
From that deal that she mentioned that she super lowballed for 50 grand, I noticed she said she used money from the holding company, using her, I mean, it's not her money, but using money from...
It's 80%. At that time, it was about 80% her money.
Right.
She swept it. It's the old money sweep trick. I mean, it's just, people always ask, well, how do I pay myself? You take it from the operating entity and you bring it up into the holding company. That's all he did. All she did. That's no big, genius-like move. Okay, so what's the question?
So in that case, you would recommend doing that or not messing with a bank or anything?
No. You want to get as much money as you can out of the goddamn banks.
Got it.
You want to do that working capital, and you want to have an overdraft or line of credit depending on where you are in the world. Absolutely. Right now, if you followed the news, which you probably didn't, from about when the lockdown went in around mid-March, and then from about the 5th of April on, you started seeing announcements, people going to cash, people drawing down their lines of credit, people trying to increase their working capital, people selling bonds to raise cash. Thomas and the kids all went and got additional overdrafts, increased their working capital, and drew down their lines of credit. You want cash, and you're not worried about the fees you're paying. You want the money when you the fuck want it, not after it clears the investment committee and all the crap that you got to go through. They all drew down cash. And these big companies like Warren, who's sitting, I don't know, $50 billion in cash, whatever, and Microsoft, they already had cash, yet they exercised all their lines of credit. If you've got $65 billion in the bank, why would you go and pay more money for more loans? Because you might need it. And that fee that you pay is called the opportunity cost. That's just it if you're in business. It's like I used to work as a specialty chef, hard to believe, in a hamburger place. And now, when I dropped the meat on the floor by accident, I cooked it. You know, I'm honest. Or I said, can we take it home? You know, I wouldn't tell my mom that I, fucking dropped it on the floor. She says, no, we cook it. Now, they tell me, in there, I see food being thrown in the trash after it's dropped. I want to go pick it up. I'll wipe that fucker off, I wouldn't put it in my pocket. Now I don't have to put it in my pocket. But, so you want to go to cash because you don't know what you don't know. And during these Corona times, as she said, she wanted to sweep enough cash into the holding company so she could just buy something on the minute. Because there's going to be opportunities. Okay, $615,000. I'll give you $300,000 today, this afternoon, cash. Done. Well, if you don't have the $315,000, and that's why you go to cash. And God bless her, she listens. The Viking bitch listens. And she really does want to help people. That's not me. She didn't get that part from me. She was that person way before I met her, when she was a basketball star, wherever the hell she was. Other question? You look stunned by her. I didn't have her here to give the women hope, because they have got more hope because they're better multitaskers than you are. But so far we've had a black guy, the Viking bitch, an Asian gangbanger. Who else? Oh, the Goomba, the spaghetti bender, a Goomba, Dago, gangster lawyer. Who? That's Jerome. Okay, who else? What? Oh, the 7-footer. Which Bible thumper? Oh, Margot. So we've got a potpourri of potential individuals, successful, all of them, that you may or may not be able to relate to in something that they say or do resonates with you. But then in 1995, when I took their money and ran like a thief in the night, how did those people do it? When Dan Locke came back to the seminar, he had gone in maybe 2004, 5, 6, something like that. Then when he came back to the seminar and he says, Dan, he says, the only thing you don't do is sign the contract for him. Then he came back for the hardcore. He said, I can't stand it. You're breaking my heart. When I say the human race is through, I mean it from the bottom of my heart. We're finished. The resourcefulness that we don't have anymore is, as my Irish partners would say, is pathetic. Yet you're, forgive me, Anna, ostensibly the cream of the crop. Forgive me. Because you're here. And even though all this material, with a couple exceptions, is free on my website, we have, on a big day, we have 25,000 people on my website. Normally, we have 5,000 or 6,000 instead of 25 million. And it's not just my vulgarity that turns the people off. Because I tell you it's hard. There's two sections on my website. One is deal flow. You can just hit a link, deal flow. And the other one is how do you get the fucking money? There's two links on my site. Those are the two least hit links on my website. Two least. Some days we get 3 for deal flow. 3 out of 6, 8, 9,000. Some days we get 0 on how do you get the fucking money. Those are the only, if you only look at those two things, you can get rich. Deal flow and how do you get the fucking money. Now today I'm gonna have a surge. There are gonna be 50 people on it today because they heard me screaming. But a week from today they'll be down to 4 again. I don't know what people look at on my website. I really don't, for the life of me. I love, whenever I want a good cry, I go in there and listen to myself because I can make myself cry. I love the sound of my voice. I fucking love it. But I don't know what they look at on my site. I really don't. The best bang for buck, and it's for free, is the audio of my book. Your first 100 million audio. And it's been updated with editors update or whatever the shit. That is the best bang. And we've got something less than 1 million, right? Since it's been out? Yeah, it's been out, what, 2, 3 years? Okay. Less than 1 million people have downloaded the book for free. But that's the best bang for the buck. Okay. Anything else about the Viking bitch? Yes, sir.
I have a question. She mentioned...
Well, I thought that maybe we were going to start a prayer, but go ahead.
I could do that too, but...
No, that's why I said, that's supposed to be a joke between the twos of us two black men,
Black
and
power.
here you got to flap your mouth. Nothing worse than a black man's mouth because he can't keep it closed.
That's the best thing, being a black man.
Okay. I'm sure that the young black lady would differ with that. I'm not going to say anything, but okay, what's the question?
She mentioned management clause. Can you talk about how to set that up?
No, there is no such a thing as a management clause. Okay? What she's talking about is a management agreement. That they agree that you run the business, you're going to collect the money until the licenses come. One of the hardest things, I learned the hard way, is when let's say you're rolling up substance abuse, crackheads and shit like that. The licensing is very difficult to transfer. And normally, they'll say in 60 to 120 days, we'll get you your license. Don't believe that. Okay. So what you do is you want to buy the company. And I tell you not to buy the company. I tell you to buy the income-producing assets within the company. But you buy the company, and the licenses then come directly transferred to you in 15 to 30 days. But the first time around, she was trying to, and if she can't get a goddamn license, as fully qualified as she is. So just imagine if some dipshit truck driver comes in and tries to get the licenses. So that's what she means. It's a management agreement that you're going to be able to run the business, take over the business, and until the licenses come, because you're operating under their licenses until they're transferred. Yes, sir.
Would you repeat that again? You said you manage the.
It's a management agreement. The selling management.
That's not the point.
Okay.
It was the money producing assets part.
Okay. We're gonna talk about the structure as soon as we get off of YouTube from the chairman down. But there's two ways to buy healthcare, technology, whatever. You buy assets, or you buy the cash flow. Okay? We're cash flow borrowers. We're cash flow. If it doesn't have cash flow, we're not interested in it. Cash flow is a figure that's after income taxes, after taxes income. And a rough rule of thumb, if you have $1 million in after-tax income, you probably are cash flowing between 1.4 and 1.5 million. Because you add back depreciation and amortization, it's roughly 40 or 50%. You don't need to know that. But I'm just telling you, we borrow and buy businesses only based on positive cash flow. And our cash flow even has to be more prettier. That's not good English, but it's free cash flow. Free. Money that you can burn in the fireplace if you want. If your bank tells you have to keep 10 or 20 or 50 or $100,000 in the bank in your checking account, that's not part of the loan. That's not free cash flow. They've added something onto the contract. You want free cash flow that you can do anything with. And we are buying businesses at between 3 and 5 times free cash flow. Now, what has happened with Corona? Well, those businesses that were worth 3 to 5 times cash flow probably are worth between 25 and 50% less post-Corona than pre-Corona. And the reality is some of the businesses are worth nothing. Why would the guy give her the $800,000 business for 50 grand? I would have made him pay me 50 grand. It was a mercy fuck. There are businesses out there that you can get for nothing, zero. And this is going to sound really raunchy. Girls have it easier. For all the reasons that you shouldn't talk about, plus they're better multitaskers. Oh, I wish I was a good-looking bitch. Now, I'd have to have my snatch rebuilt. I mean, I would have fucked 200,000-300,000 people by now to get deals done. But I'm not suggesting any of you young ladies do that, because we have a 34-year-old daughter. So you be good girls. Okay. Now, so we buy cash flow. That's it. And when you just buy the assets and not the corporate veils, so to speak, you're free of past liabilities, current liabilities, and future liabilities because they pass with the corporate entity. And you're not buying the corporate entity, you're buying the assets to produce the cash. But sometimes you have to buy the corporate entity, i.e. the example I just gave about the licenses for substance abuse practices. They don't pass from guy to guy, they pass from company under the new ownership. So then you buy the stock. But now you're stuck with the past, present, and future liabilities. And normally, 99% of the time, those are all some form of tax that didn't get paid. Some form of tax. They don't tell you about it. Because we ask them, when we talk about it, we ask for 3 years tax returns. But they may have moved from a Nevada to this, to that, and 25 years ago, and they own, it's the same company, and they owe $500,000 in taxes. And just after you close, and sitting in that CEO chair that you shouldn't be with your fat ass, the IRS or the Inland Revenue or whoever, the taxing authority shows up, knocks on your door, and they come in, oh, by the way, you're the new owner. The old owner said you'd be here this week. The first time he didn't lie to us in 15 years of chasing him. You owe us $1.6 million. And all those spreadsheets you did mean nothing. Okay. Any other questions? Yes, sir.
So the recent Corona deals, what's the ratio that free cash flow covers debt service?
It's less to maybe nothing. I'm going to show you how they're going to pay you to take their business. Or at most, you pay them $1. And your board members will say you're crazy. Some will even resign and say, I don't want to be part of a scam. They'll think it's a Ponzi, some kind of Ponzi shit. And it's not, it's 100%. 100%. But it depends on the level of motivation. Not desperation, motivation. Because once they get desperate, then they do shit and they lie and they steal. And they're going to do that anyway, but they do it in a big way. You don't want them desperate. You don't want them suicidal over it. But in closing for the YouTube, back in the 80s, a motivated seller to Peña, fucking wetback Michigan, the old man pushing his old lady in a wheelchair. He just had a stroke, and his old lady spitting up blood from emphysema. Now, them's motivated sellers of that wetback Peña, which was true. They weren't lying. Now, have I put pens in people's hands and signed after they're already dead? I will neither confirm nor deny that. But when I tell you, motherfucker, I'll do whatever it fucking takes to close this cocksucker, including killing your wife, I mean it. Metaphorically speaking, because everybody deserves to live. Goodbye, YouTube.